All right. How are you guys? How are you guys? How are you? How are you? How are you? I hope you guys are doing very well. I'm just gonna let you guys know August's energy has been fucking crazy. It has been crazy, crazy, crazy. So I hope that you're here to get these love messages between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We are completely, and I mean completely overdue. So I'm sorry. I know that we are completely overdue, but we are going to get into these messages right now. Give me one moment though. Oh, I was looking at our phone, so oh, doesn't matter. Anyways, so we have the bridge. So what we're going to talk about today is that we're going to talk about the soul's journey, the soul's union, the soul's coming together, a collective memory, and also speaking about a little bit more in depth to our realignment messages with the Starseed Oracle. So something came over me, so I'm trying to let it come through and let it come out. It's giving me a little bit of a headache. But anyways, the bridge. We're going to okay, here we go. The bridge. It's the connection, the link, and the gate. Bridges are built to connect two worlds. They create flow, allowing us to travel between realms, ideologies, personalities. This archetype is a gesture of acceptance, of saying yes rather than withdrawing, separating and saying no. When we cross a bridge to an unknown land, we are led magically into a new reality. We open up to otherness, healing, and communication are made possible. We enter a state of curiosity, wonder, and learning. The shaman, for example, creates the bridge between the everyday world and the sacred. This card asks us to study the connections between the seemingly disconnected parts of our life, relationships, ideologies, histories. Remember that a bridge can't be forced. It must be made with love, or its structure will not withstand the inevitable weather of life. When in light, acceptance, magic, communication. When dark, lacking boundaries, and forcing connection. Go deeper, Bifrost, the burning rainbow bridge of Norse mythology. Okay. Then it says, lie on the floor and listen to bridge over troubled water. Notice the ease and acceptance within the melody, the feeling of rising above the muck. What else do we have here? Imagine building a bridge, then imagine building a wall. Which energy is needed for the situation at hand, and which image softens and heals the heart. Okay. There's a lot to unpack with just one card, honestly. But to try to not make this video as long as I know it's going to be, going to keep pulling cards, and then we'll talk more about what that means. Or I can just speak on it, but there's so much depth that we haven't crossed. And we keep seeing this Five of Cups energy. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, by the way. So we're seeing both of these energies with this Five of Cups here that keeps showing up. I feel like a lot of you, the Six of Swords is here. I feel like a lot of you, again, this is like the beginning before you get to the bridge. And I feel like this is speaking hand in hand about the soul's journey. I'm sorry, let me move y'all Instagram. It speaks a lot about the soul's journey, and it speaks a lot about how there has to be emotion, a cause, and then an actual effect, or an actual destination, or an actual opening to a new space into a new world. I feel like a lot of you got stuck in the past, or a lot of you are setting out to this next destination, whether this be a new job, whether this be moving to a new apartment, whether this be moving across the seas or to a different country or a different state. This could either be about you losing friendships, or you moving away from family, or you're breaking ties with an old lover. This is really just speaking more about like there's someone leaving a destination to go to a destination. But I feel like this bridge here is more metaphorical than just the actual destination. And I feel like this is more about when we start connecting back to the spirituality, the actual connection to spirit, that will behave in a different light and in a different way, where you'll start to become more enlightened. The swords is mental, and this is thoughts or thought processes or communication. And the bridge here, we're speaking a lot about communication as well. So what are we here? What is the in between? What is this space that we're in, as far maybe 3D or into the actual ethers, or whether, because there's water here as well, and also this bridge and this connection, and there's water here as well. So see the actual the symmetry rather, but also the lesson, the story, the visuals, but see the symbols, see what you're seeing here. Who's in the boat? Where they're going? What is the mood? What is the energy? And applying it into your own life to come more in depth with your own journey. As far as the audio is off. Are you serious? Y'all been sitting here the whole time and my audio been on. How is it off? Can you hear me now? Someone tell me if they can hear me. Because I can't believe you can hear it. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you. How are you, Crystal? And how are you, Black Manager? Mr. Black Manager. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. You heard me the whole time. Okay, awesome. Then it's probably just this audio. I don't know what's going on. No. They can hear me. Okay. Let's move forward. So there's also a sense of a lot of like, you're so welcome, love. some of you could have been like in this connection or in this place where you're forcing an experience or you're forcing a situation or you're forcing something that is not necessarily balanced or not necessarily as fully connected. It's like you're here, but you're not over there in this. And here's the thing. We're not so in one space. We're omnipresent. We're literally everywhere going at rapid speeds. When we connect more to the soul, then understanding that the soul is connected to this vehicle, this vessel, this temple, but it's also able to move faster as this earth and as your own vibration starts to vibrate higher and higher and higher to different speeds that will push you and propel you forward and propel you into different senses of nature. And it's like your guidelines, it's like your ley lines. And the optimistic jubilant will also be connected to your path and to your purpose. I hope that makes sense. So again, we're looking at these here, right? And where is he or she going? Where are you going? Where are you going? And where, like, as far as the bridge, metaphorically, that's what it's speaking of. Let's move forward. There's still this Five of Cups energy. I don't know who this really is, but there's a lot of this Five of Cups energy. I feel like at this time, it is a time for like being more present where you are, being more willful in where you are, and being more willful in the direction that you want to be. But you got to get in your head where you want to go. You got to get in your head where do you want to step foot next. Like, you got to be willing to understand where do you want to place yourself and position yourself. You can't continue to be in a space of this Five of Cups energy, the sad energy, this energy where you don't know your worth with the Empress here. The Empress is asking your souls to understand your value, your worth. This is basically where the North Node is, North Node in Taurus. The North Node is where we're going, the collective, where we're going, destiny. This could be pleasure. This could be the actual senses, the sensuality of things, the presence of things, the earthly things, it can be the material realm, but I feel like this is going beyond the experience of this realm as we're merging the spiritual and the physical realms. Well, they're already pretty much merged. This is 2022. And this time period, as far as 2022, you're merging these different modalities, these different senses, these different connections, these different tribes, and you're bringing them together. But the first step is to actually set foot, to set sail towards that feeling, that energy, the connection. It is the link. It is the gate. Guys, I have makeup on, so I can't crack my neck the way that I really want to. So I'm sorry that looks weird. Let's get some more information here as far as the soul journey. I hope this isn't going in and out. I am recording on YouTube as well, so Hopefully YouTube picks up everything that I'm saying like perfectly. So I'm sorry, Instagram, for going in and out. You know, sometimes I run back my videos and they be going in and out. I'm like, fuck. But yeah. So what's the problem here? Spirit, like, what is this jolt that we're getting, but what we're also receiving? Okay. Oh, this is getting deeper. I just like, okay, we also have differences. We're going to get into that, but I don't want to do this apocalypse type speech right now. But FYI, we're still in the apocalypse. I hope you guys know that. I hope you know that. Okay. Okay. So, okay. How do we put this? We're going to have to talk about this apocalyptic energy. This energy that you guys are feeling is not very much faint for the heart. It's not this energy that anyone necessarily wants to dwell in. It's not necessarily an energy that someone wants to swim through, but we're swimming through it. We're riding through it. We're waving through it because as a collective, we are having to be faced to see our lives, to see our pain, to see the deceit. We are being shown everything all at one time because it's now a time where it's more of God's time to say, this is now time to be of truth, to be of integrity, to be of balance, to be of harmony, to be of union. It's not Christian rhetoric, but this is actually beyond what was taught, but connected better for you to understand. This time is a time for you to be summoned because you are being called somewhere. You're being called to action. You're being called to be aware. You're being called to transverse. You're being called to bring forward. You're being called to go help. You're being called to feed. You're being called to set up. You're being called to help out. You're being called places where you thought that you would never go because you're past gone the actual cycles and the times and the timelines and the lifetimes that has been shuttered out, that has been cut out by our ancestors, that have been closed out by actual heroes that you don't know about yet, but you will feel their presence very soon when you start to understand that you are also a part of that collective. You're being called inward. You're being called forward to step up and to be the warrior. You are called to be in the actual union of love. You're being called to bring all what is to transpire from all the lessons, from all the pain, from all this these different cycles. Like I've seen on TikTok, beautiful black man was speaking about, it's very funny, but if this is everything about his life, he said that he has to make it like romanticize it. Because if this is not about these pain and these lessons and these failures and these falls is not about character development, then he's going to snap. And I get it. And I hear it. And it's so relatable because we have gone on this journey far past 2019, far past 2016 and 17. I mean, 15. This is going back to even at the very beginning of your birth, but even beyond birth, of your physical vessel coming up to this earth. It's your soul's journey that is being summoned by your ancestors, your guides, and God. It's asking you to step forward, to touch the unspeakable, to touch the unspeakable, to touch the unknown, to touch the things that, hey love, that touch more love, more creation. It says here, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. It's like, it's that same story. It's that same theme that is being said through the bridge, that's being said through the Empress, that's being said through the Six of Swords, that's being said through the Summon card. It's saying everything that you've gone through is for a reason, and it's for purpose. What if I'm able to actually tell you right now that everything that you've gone through is for purpose? What if I tell you that I went through 13 years of depression to be able to tell you right now at this very moment, to tell my future self, to tell my past self that yes, everything that you went through was for purpose. All the lies and deceits that you've written yourself, that you've held into your vessels, that you've held into your bodies, that you've held into your backs, that you've held into your wombs, that you've held into your mind, and you've held on everything in your body and in your bones and in your joints. All that pain that you carried, all that burdens that you carried, all that confusion, the worry, the lack, the sense of the actual ability to move forward, to move through these different time zones and dimensions and realms, and actually connecting to other actual spirits that walk amongst this earth, that is in a physical vessels too, that look at you, to look at another, to look at back at themselves, for you to remind them of who they are. You have to remember that you are the Empress. This is the divine feminine. This is the divine masculine. This is the actual giving and the receiving between the both. This is the actual push. This is the actual pull. This is the actual receival. He's the builder. He's the mastermind, but she is the one that sets up, that is able to preserve, that able to multiply, that is able to create. Yes, my love, yin and yang. If you want to know about the yin and yang, I'll probably read it again, but this is, I made a reel about the differences of yin and yang. You see here the yin and yang. These cards have been here upright the whole time. Y'all see me shuffle. I ain't just picked these motherfuckers out. And look what's right behind it, y'all. Self-worth. You can't make this up. And right after is choices, but yeah, we'll get into that. I hope this makes sense. Again, you're being summoned. You're being called into action. Those that are in the in-between, get into it. Like, the in-between is a weird space. If you know, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. The in-between is different. It's different. But look at here. Look at the message. This might not make sense. You don't see this deck very much. But we have the Queen of Cups here. Okay, the Queen of Cups, but this is a man. No, we have the in-between tarot. Okay. Let's go ahead and read it. You have to decipher it, but also this is the perfect time to finally decipher this card. This is the actual masculine presence operating in his feminine to balance, to step forth the actual multiply of the woman and the child at this point. Do we need to get deep into it? We might have to. You have to ask yourself what makes you stop. That's what my probation officer asked me. What makes you stop? Yes, you should. Queen of Cups, here we go. Need to sneeze in. Whew. Good Lord. Yeah. All right. The Queen of Cups keywords is compassion, caring for others. The King of Cups keywords is emotional intelligence and maturity. Hence that. Did you hear that? In between concept, a degree of responsibility offered. The wise one is in front of the throne covered in flowers. He has been assigned the role of spiritual chief. The tribe have now felt that this is the most wise person who is ready to be the decision maker for all of others. The move from the Queen of Cups to the King of Cups shows that those skills of compassion and caring for others have now been recognized. The energy of the Queen is often an introverted one. Those skills are not immediately obvious, whereas the King outwardly conveys these skills to people, combined with a display of maturity. In this in-between stage, the role of King is not quite cemented. The leader is learning how to be emotionally intelligent. This is a skill that will come with time and patience. Fear I could wait better in my life if I wasn't afraid. Rewrite that. And I want you to put that in your journal tonight. And discover those blocks. If you stay around, I'll pull you a card. I'll pull you a personal card for yourself to help you understand what the actual emotional trigger is, to help you pinpoint back to your inner child or any type of adult trauma that you went through, or even teenager trauma that you went through, that makes you keep stopping. And tapping more into why you're afraid. Okay. So, whew, that's a lot to unpack too. So, Jesus. Black baby Jesus. Okay, so, gosh. You're welcome. So, again, this is after Yang has given to Yin. This is when Yang transfers the energy backwards in harmony and in balance back to Yang, which he receives the actual energy of emotional maturity, This is how you create balance. But he's able to do this within himself, but you have to understand you have to be balanced with both energies, feminine and masculine, and we all have them. So the thing is that the masculine has, I should have titled this The Return to the Throne, because the masculine has been in an upward cycle, a battle since 2019, really 2018. 2017 was the break point where they started getting things rougher on them, where they started have to awaken, where they had to just kind of start having conversations. Not a lot of men had open conversations as much as we would like to say that they did, but sessions of actual healing in sessions or podcasts, even though some of those podcasts can be toxic, but hey, it's really just men trying to fucking figure that shit out. So it's like, at least they're trying to have a fucking conversation. I mean, you need to have an honest one, but that's here or there. We're not going to get deep into it because it's the same way as for women, and I see it all the time, and it's ridiculous. But anyways, I feel like the masculine is receiving this eloquence of his travels, of his journey, of his own personal soul's journey, of discovering the actual differences between him and himself, and also the differences between him and his divine counterpart, the divine feminine. And I feel like this is ushering in an actual stability period, because bridges are really can be built on bricks or very sturdy, no, but it is this return that you can see in this image where he's coming back to his throne. And it's like, after, if you've seen a couple of my videos, like maybe last year, you'll kind of see that reflective symmetry of the messages that I was saying last year as well. There's some on my YouTube and then some in my Instagrams, but you can go and check that out, my loves. But those are able to help you kind of see where the divine masculine has been at all the way back in 2020. So I feel like the masculine is like hurting himself, because there is this passage of preparation, this abundance that is coming forth, and this deeper ritual that trying to keep it cool. This deeper ritual that will be displayed, and this is I know people don't like to use good or bad, but can be good or bad. The download that I got. But I feel like the divine masculine is preparing himself, not necessarily for battle, even though there is battle. We've been in war, but he's concretely knowing and confidently standing in this truth, even though this is not just this truth or this like achievement of like this strength and this power. Even though there's strength and power in our emotions, it's more on a spiritual connection that he finally went through, where he is able to finally speak with this true profoundness, where he can do the unspeakable, summoning. And because he has love in his heart and this love connection, that he sees the good in all things. He sees the reasoning, and he enjoys it, and he lets go of all the things of the past. Yeah, deceit. Has he seen the deceit, or is it still invisible to him? This is how the subconscious and the ego can come together and play tricks when you are not honest. You have to be honest. Okay. And then we have the death card here. If you stick around, I'll give you a reading. But the death card, this is a divine masculine reading, so yeah, and divine feminine. But this is the death card. So the death card, and you can see here is the phoenix, but you can also see here this angel. And there's this domino effect, because we also have the south node in Scorpio. And even though Sagittarius, I like that how you came in here all smooth like that, is really the rising phoenix. It is the tail end. It is the one that produces and is able to bring that type of freedom forth. It's like bringing that freedom and that optimism forth in this belief. Remember, you have to remember. This is going to be a lot of my message for the rest of the year, because I have to get into you guys' heads. Do you remember? Do you remember the lessons? It's like at this point, you have to be fully awakened to who you are, and at least knowing that you're more than what they told you, and that you're on this discovery, this Sagittarius discovery. You're on this road, you're on this destination of knowledge, of wisdom. This is Jupiter's rule. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but also Pisces as well. So this is wisdom. The wisdom and the actual material, but also the wisdom of the geography, the world, Sagittarius, and then the wisdom of the underworld, the connection, the material, the ethereal realms, the water realms. That's the truer wisdom. And bringing Pisces and Sagittarius together to work in its full-on harmony will be able to create this value, this love, this divine connection, this shine, this spark, this brightness forth. And this is applied to how do you bring out divine feminine, your spark, your creation, your abundance, your prosperity. What are you sustaining? What are you preserving? Are you allowing it to stay, or are you allowing it, or are you dissolving it? That's the thing, divine feminine. You guys get so stuck. So stuck. Women get so stuck in relationships because you allow a man to feed you something that is toxic, but you don't dissolve it. You whatever he creates and it's not good, you are to dissolve it. I hope I helped. Masculine. You're supposed to be really what's the word? What's the word? The planner. I was going to say it, but they would say women are the planners, but really masculines. You are to plan the world. Whatever you are creating, wands is creation, fire, whatever you're creating, whatever you're manifesting through the ethers, through the visualization, you standing in the world, holding it, or observing the world outside of it, rather, you need to expand yourself to plan what you can see and formulate for as the divine feminine can sustain it. Let's go ahead and get into it, because I think are you hearing me or are you not hearing me? Because I need you to stick with me. think with me real quick, because this is going to blow you, and then you can go if you want to, but this is going to put into perspective. If I can find my book, I'm scanning. Oh, it's not here. Hold on, y'all. Stay with me. Where's the book? Have to make it real. Have to make it make sense to you. I can't make it make sense to you. It has to make sense to you. Okay, so in Eastern philosophy, yang and yin are defined as follows. Yang is the initiating impulse, pushing, which divides and delineates, and yin is the responsive impulse, which nurtures and reunites. Without yang, nothing could come into being. Let's just stop right there. I think that's what I really need you to understand. If you want to, let me say that one more time. Without yang, this is divine masculines. Without yang, nothing would come into being. Without yin, all that comes into being would die. Do you see their different roles? Do you see your differences between the two? Do you see the similarities? Do you see the actual positions? And this is all about positioning you into your purpose, positioning into the actual matrimony of not only your union with self, but the union with others. Again, you're being summoned. All right, let's get deeper. So the divine masculines is in perfection. They're in a perfection period. They're in a period of planning. They're in a period of creating something. They're in a period of bringing forth something, action. This is Virgo energy. So this is perfect time as we're going to, is it Virgo season? As we're going into Virgo season, or we're in Virgo season. I haven't booked them, sorry guys. But as we're coming in, we're exploring as the divine masculines are creating and they're planning. Y'all, they're not, no, they are. Don't you see his spears? Yeah, it is still Leo season. Don't you see his spears? And you see those two of wands? This is why I love using different cards, because you can see, again, the symmetry, the similarities, the message. The spirit wants you to really see. So the two of wands, this is preparation. Let's read it. Let's really get into it. Okay. Support master. The two of wands is a reflection of passion. It's a reflection of passion. Making plans, having the world in your hands, plotting and planning. Fire's energy has developed into something more. The duality, passion, and all the possibility it allows. The figure stands between two wands with the world in his hands. The wands reflect the two pillars of the tree of life. The figure in the center pillar is the center pillar, the integration of dualities. Come on. See the world before you. What do you want? Now is the time to plot and plan. So again, what does yang do? Without yang, nothing can come into being. Divine masculines, men, the ones that actually are able to hold masculine energy better. Is able to provide the actual system, the plan to be displayed, to bring into. This is the creator. The divine feminine is to sustain it and multiply it. They are both creators. It's one and the two. It's one without the other. You can't have one without the other. Two worlds. When you're merged, you can do beyond this divine masculine, divine feminine. You're merged, you're one, and you're able to do one unison connection. I hope that makes. Does it make sense or does it make sense? Let's move forward. Again, the divine masculines are learning their flow with Poseidon here. They're learning their flow. They're learning their balance. They're learning how to bring things forth and these actions. They're coming back into this zone, this creation. So, but divine masculines, this is a period of growth for you. This is a period of you to put things into action, for you to go outside. Like, do you see him yelling? Like, you doing your hoorah shit. That's what y'all are supposed to be doing. This is you preparing forth this action to multiply it as well, just as much as your divine feminine multiplies what you bring to her. Let's get a little bit more messages for the divine feminine. Oh, that's a lot of messages. I wanted to pump this out for you guys so that you guys can, like, you know, feel hefty with the next few months of this message. I do these messages more parallel to seasons. So as we enter the fall season, this is kind of like the uphill to the fall. I'll probably do another message like this, of course, in the fall. We'll see. Okay. We have Dakini, the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. This is literally the realignment messages that we had for August. Go check out that video, that reel. It's on my Instagram, YouTube. Instagram, go check out that reel. Actually, literally go check out all the reels because they're all tied into one. And I try to make sure that everything is tied consistently perfectly. I'm trying to stop skipping so many holes, but they still resonate. Which deck is this? It is the Divine Feminine Oracle. This is what it looks like on the box as well. So, by Megan Watterson. Yeah, I love this deck. So, this is, they all make sense. It's like I don't even have to say it. Right, I get a lot of my decks from Amazon, but now it's time, like, I did a whole flush. I have literally 90 decks, honestly. I know, it's crazy. And I want more. Now I want to go into getting Instagrams, people on Instagrams, personal decks, Kickstarter decks. I'm gonna flush all the Kickstarter decks. Like I want all of them, and then Etsy. I flooded Amazon out, so it's time to yeah. And they're gonna be so handcrafted and so beautiful. Like they're gonna be 10 times better than the cards that I have. I just like the cards because I like you guys to see the messages because I can talk all day and I'm very powerful with my intuitive messages. Most people tend to kind of want more of those or say that I should do those because I really don't need the cards and I don't. But the cards are really just visuals for you guys. And it's for entertainment purposes. So I'm still going to do it. It doesn't really fucking matter. But you should never rely on the cards, guys. I'm kind of taking a slow down here because I'm been talking for 51 fucking minutes and I'm tired. But I'm not that tired because I'm still got y'all's messages. But I don't want y'all to rely on the cards. Yes, you should. You should do a whole built-in thing, like a desk built in with the actual deck holder. Is that what you're talking about? Because you should definitely do that, and that would be dope. But anyways, guys, so again, this is reference back to the realignment messages. Trust in your inner guidance. This is all about really abundance. This is also about prosperity. This is a great time for prosperity. This is also we're coming up on a harvest time, y'all. Come on. This is harvest time. You can make so much money in the fall. You can make so much money. And there's so many people that are doing it. So they'll do it. And I want you guys to focus in on not leaning into your fear, but leaning more into the trust of yourself, divine feminine, and divine masculine coming into his throne, coming into his period of ownership and worthiness, and becoming the chief of the village, becoming the one that makes the decisions, that makes the things. This is how you move, divine masculines. You move upon the decisions, but you also you also seek out counsel from your divine feminine. It is a flow and ebb of both. It's a flow and ebb of both. So I hope that I can reiterate that, guys, to you so you can understand how you can come into more growth. How do you heal the relationship between a very struggling partnership between you and your counterpart? What you can do is that there is a time period where you'll have to step away. And there's a time, and then that time period is supposed to teach you how you miss your divine counterpart and being able to differentiate what you actually miss in a more healthy way. Not the lust factor, but the actual connection between the two. Is it healthy? Is there resistance? Just because there's resistance doesn't mean the relationship is ending. I don't know why people think that, but because but doesn't mean you need to be up somebody's motherfucking ass. But it's about coming to a place where you push and then you let go. And you don't keep pushing, you let go because you want the person to have that actual space. So to forgive, you need to let go in that instance and to surrender. And then allow yourself to step forward as the observer of what is missing and what needs to be added and what needs to be taken out. You come to a space where it's again, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things, because we don't just take lessons. We don't just take losses. We take the lessons too. We take those lessons and we turn them into blessings, because in the next period, in the next time, you're able to learn from that lesson and never do it again, and rise yourself to a high vibration, which is in love. That you are loving yourself. You're falling in love with self, falling in love with the process of trusting the universe and trusting the inner guidance within self, and stepping into the throne of the actual maturity of the self, the emotional body of the self, and also aligning the actual logical, the action, the mental towards the self to direct itself into a forward motion that it desires it to go. Does it make sense? And in that, I feel like you gotta know what you want. You gotta know what you want. And this is going to tie back into forgiveness, but you also gotta know what you want. You gotta know what you want. And what you want is to be able to be free. Freedom is what is required. Freedom is what you desire. Freedom is what you want to give to others. It is what you want to others to see, and others to achieve to, and others to abide to. You want to create this symmetry, this relatability, this connection to beyond the self, but it's like also connecting to a tree. All through TikTok, people are able to see how the tree is able to touch your hand just by asking, and without wind. It's the actual initiating impulse that we give to be able to receive from nature, to receive from the wisdom of that tree, to receive from the wisdom of water, to receive the wisdom of the spiritual realms, to see the wisdom from the actual journey, the archetype journey, the fool's journey, lost journey, or the thought books, or the actual understanding of how the Silk Roads were built, the planning, the initiating impulse, or the actual temples, the sacred temples that are all over this world, all the ley lines, all the chakra points, all the mountains, all the caves, all the craters in the waters, the depths of the ocean. You're connecting to something beyond yourself. This is like going beyond the experience, which I will be having a podcast soon that will be speaking about going beyond the experience. Taking you from the 3D all the way to the 5D, from the 5D to 6D to 6D to the ninth dimension. Ninth dimension to the 11th dimension, to the 11th dimension to the 13th, to the 13th to the 20th. And that's a download because I think that's very much possible. How I thought about it in my head, the process of doing it, it's possible. The goal is attainable, but the process has to work. Anything is attainable. I want you guys to understand that anything is attainable. Your process has to work. Your plan, divine masculine, it's possible. If you can see it, it's possible. But your system has to make it work. A lot of people give up. Fucking been there. That's why I'm trying to work my process. The goal is always achievable, hands down. Unless you defy the laws of gravity or trying to, but and There's theories that are coming into my mind even about those things. And they're going to they're literally just gonna it's going to be fucking crazy when I tap into shit like that. And I never thought I would like science. Only have 21 minutes on Instagram, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I hope those messages make sense. I love you guys. I'm gonna get out of here because it's time for me to go. I've been on here for an hour, but I love you guys. So peace. Oh shit.